My name is Jaden.
My name is Eli.
I'm Jason.
And I'm Caden.
And we are the YHWH and the Torah YouTube channel.
And these are the laws of Elohim.
And yeah, that didn't go so well. Anyway, that should have been a much snazzier introduction. I was hoping for something else. Maybe we'll get drums or something one time. I don't think so. Okay. Hi, guys. How are you? How's everybody out there? Thank you guys very much for joining us. We appreciate your time. We know that your time is extremely, extremely valuable. And we are honored that you are hanging out with us. And we are going through what we believe are the laws, statutes, and commands of our Creator. And last time, we began in Genesis 1. And what we have for the commands right here, and we don't know the number of them, and that's why on our YouTube titles, it will say the unknown. And then once we actually have a number of them, we'll go through them. So we have the very first one that we did, and this is all from the same chapter, but we have be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, subdue it, have dominion over all creatures. All right, so we're starting a clean slate, and we are also starting another chapter. And what we are trying to do is we are trying to identify all of the laws, statutes, and commands that apply to us. Now, there are going to be some that we have some in this discussion, and I would really appreciate it if you guys get in the discussion with us. And I know there's a lot of you guys out there who kind of do this as family time, and it's really, truly awesome that we have an extended family, and so we're all kind of sitting around the digital table, and we're all discussing this stuff. So when we read through these, if you guys have a different perspective or something else you guys think, please take the time and put them in the comments so that we can talk about them and formulate a plan. I want to try to get the most complete list of the law, statutes, and commands that we have, and when we're done with that, we're going to organize them into stuff that's for males or females and things of that nature. One thing is, Nicole, my precious wife, went to and said on yesterday's, for the last one that we did, Genesis 1:29, that some people say that this is a commandment. So let's read it. And Elohim said, "Behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree, in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed, to you it shall be for food." So, gentlemen, anything right there?
I think he just said, here's your food. Here's what you're going to eat. I don't think it was specifically a command. He just says, here's all these trees, have at it. It's for your food.
Yeah, I wouldn't take out of this that we have to eat this particular stuff. So, anyone else? Anyone have a, Eli, you have anything on this?
Yeah, it just doesn't sound like a command. It's just saying, here, this is yours.
Elohim said, "Behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed." What does that say in the Hallelujah Scriptures, guys? 1:29.
Says, and Elohim said, "See, I have given you every plant that yields seed, which is on the face of the earth, and every tree whose fruit yields seed, to you is for food."
Yeah, okay. So I don't know. Those are the ones I don't think are, they completely pertain to us. And this one, the ones we're going to be talking about today is we're not actually in the garden. But if we were there, it was a commandment. So let's get to it. Let's talk about this. Genesis 2:1. "Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the seventh day Elohim ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. And Elohim blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which Elohim created and made." All right, let's pause right there, gentlemen. And let's go through this. Sorry, guys, if I make some noise. I'm moving the stand around a little bit. I know it makes popping, hissing, whizzing sounds. Gentlemen, the first thing that Elohim did in this is he rested on the seventh day. And he also blessed the seventh day. I am confused because we have nobody actually keeps the seventh day. And so right out of the gate, our Creator says he made the entire world in 6 days, and then on the seventh day he rested and blessed it. Anybody have anything to input into this? I know we've discussed this ad nauseum before. We are obviously Sabbath keepers. We keep the Sabbath. But for those who are just listening in on this, guys, what do you have for the Sabbath day?
I'm pretty sure everyone's heard the story of creation, how he rested. I mean, it should be super simple. People should be like, oh, he blessed it, he did it. Then you're told to rest on the seventh day. It should be something very easy to follow along with.
Yeah, and that's the thing is there's nothing out there in the Bible that says we should be worshiping on a Sunday or anything else. Dogs are always hacking
And
it up.
he didn't. He most likely did not need the rest, but he gave it to us because he knew we were going to need it because we don't have unlimited power like he does. We get tired, we get sore, we need rest.
Yeah, and Mashiach says he also rested. They all rested. This is not just an earth thing. This is something that was designed before we were created, and it's been observed in the Shamaim in heaven. All right, so 4. These are the generations of the heavens and of the earth when they were created, in the day that Yahuwah Elohim made the earth and the heavens, and every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew. For Yahuwah Elohim had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground. Okay, so very, very interesting stuff. I mean, there's nobody to till the ground.
But he didn't let anything sprout until someone came along to till it.
Yeah, because it might get crazy, might get kind of wild here. So, verse 6. But there went up a mist from the earth and watered the whole face of the ground. And Yahuwah Elohim formed the man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living soul. Okay, so this is very interesting in the story of creation. We have no life until when, Eli?
I think this is after he rested. Maybe on the 8th day or it's on the 6th day because it doesn't say here.
What are you talking about?
Well, what do you mean when this is?
No, I'm just saying, how did man breathe? We just read, it's verse 7.
Okay.
Man, how did man become live?
Yahoo breathed into him and he was able to breathe and came alive.
Breath of
It's
life.
like a little clay guy, a little clay toy.
So basically, we breathe Yahuwah's air.
Yeah, and so if we are created in his image, I would imagine he has nostrils, he has ears and eyes and things of that nature, something of the same, I would imagine. That's the only way we would be created in his image. Verse 8. And there goes my dogs. And Yahuwah Elohim planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. And out of the garden made Yahuwah Elohim to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. The tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Okay, so we have some. Let's go through this real quick. And sorry guys for the distraction of the dogs. I had nothing I could do about this. So he planted a garden. He put the man in the garden. Now, do we have a wife in the garden yet at this point?
No. And another thing to note is that he wasn't in the garden yet. It says that Elohim put him in the garden.
Yes. And why was he not in the garden yet?
Because he was unclean, basically, for his birth.
Okay, and so this is stuff you would have to read where to figure
I
this
believe
out.
Leviticus Numbers would tell you about it.
But also in Jubilees and
Jasher. I think the
Book of
Adam and Eve talks about this as well. Okay, and so in this he says that everything that is pleasant to the sight. So that's something to note, that every tree that is pleasant to the sight. So if the tree is not pleasant to the sight, it probably wouldn't be good for food. And good for food, the tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So there's two separate trees, right?
There's one of life, and then there's a good and evil tree.
Right, and so there's two separate, different kinds of trees. And, the tree that you would want to eat from is what?
The tree of life.
The tree of life. And why did Yah kick them out of the garden?
Because they ate of the good and evil.
So they were unable to get back to the tree of life, is what one of the, I can't remember where.
Adam and Eve, I believe. I believe Adam and Eve.
Okay, so verse 10. And a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted and became into 4 heads. The name of the first is Pishon, that is which compasses the whole land of Cavilia, where there is gold. And the gold of that land is good. There is bdellium and the onyx stone. And the name of the second river is Gikon, I think as they say it. And how did they say it right here? It's Gikon. The same is that compasses the whole land of Cush. And the name of the third river is Kiddekel. And how do I say it? Did I say that right? Kiddekel.
Yeah, I think so.
Kiddekel. That is it which goes toward the east of Ashur. And the fourth river is Perath. And Yahuwah Elohim took the man and put him into the Garden of Eden to dress it and to guard it. Okay, so the very first job that humanity ever had was what? Farming, gardener, something of the sort.
Agriculture.
Yeah, so you guys live this life. Tell me about what's under your nails. How do you guys live your day to day?
It's dirt, grass, you weed, you plant, you plow, you maintain all the crops.
Yeah, we have a saying around here. It's called butts in the air. That's what we do all day. Is we literally have our butt in the air because we are down, bending over, weeding the ground, and so you don't see our heads very much. We're like butts in the air. So that is our life, and we are constantly tending to the gardens in various gardens that we have all over the place. But where our Creator put man right out of the gate, and this is interesting. I mean, the thing about Adam was he was born a functioning adult. He never had to go through babyhood. He never ever had to go through any of the stuff out there. And, I don't know if we give Adam and Eve enough credit that, we're just like, oh, wow, they got deceived by the snake. Those idiots, who would do this? But they did not have a lifetime of experience that we have. And so we'll get into that. But the first job was a farmer, right? And his job was to take care of this. And it was probably, how can you imagine this? I mean, you're going to be without tools, without tractors, without anything like this. What's his job? How is he going to tend to the garden?
I don't think he didn't have thorns or thistles yet. So maybe, I don't know if he had to have rocks. I doubt there's rocks.
Yeah, I bet the garden grew up really, really super nice. Yeah, probably no rocks. Not like that. Soil's probably just super awesome there.
He probably just had to use a lot of his hands at the beginning.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Yah's soil and the Yah's creation is everything is crazy. We can go, a kilometer in one direction, or half a kilometer, or whatever it is in every direction, and there's different dirt in every direction. And sometimes it's just beautiful dirt, and sometimes it is just trash dirt that is just full of rocks. And I don't have an answer for why some dirt is beautiful, on one side, and it's just you can literally walk 10, 15 steps, and it just turns to rock and something of the sort. But that is our job. We were to guard it. So let's hit it at verse 16. Okay, here's a command here. A command. Is this to us? What do we do here? And Yahuwah Elohim commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden you may freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat of it. For in the day that you eat thereof, you shall surely die. All right, gentlemen, what do we got?
I would say this is not for us, not a Torah command, because he commanded the man. Now, there's a lot of things like Joseph was commanded to go down to Egypt with YHWH to take him down there for protection. That wasn't a command for us, it was a command for Joseph. So he was commanding Adam.
So when would this apply to us?
If we were in the garden.
If we were put back into the garden.
If we lived in the garden and we were many generations in the garden, we'd all know not to eat of that tree.
Right. And so, this is not something that would apply to us, but, at the end of the day, we're all trying to make it back to the garden. That's where it seems like a really nice place to be, and it seems like where we should be. And if all we have to do out there is tend a thornless field and grow goodies for Yah, I think that sounds pretty awesome. Okay, so I don't think that's a commandment. Anyone else?
No.
Nicole, do you have anything over there? I can get her chirping sometimes, not often. Okay, so does that, Nicole, are we good with that? You think that's a command? No.
Yes, but no.
Yes, but no. Okay, so are we all in agreement that this is more for
Adam.
Adam?
Or someone in the gardens.
If you go to the garden, do not forget this, right?
Part of the gardens.
Right.
So he was trained like, don't make the same mistake we made. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Dude, they'd have signs by now, right? I mean, surely after we totally messed this one up.
I mean, if we make it back to the garden and that's where our final destination is, hopefully someone can
fenced it off. We'll fence it off for them.
Yeah, put guards up there. Do not eat this. Put guards on the guards because the guards might eat it.
If we ever make it back to the garden, that angel that was out there with his sword, we got to put him somewhere. We can put him next to the tree of good and evil.
Those guys trying to pick off and just beat him.
Why don't we cut the tree of good and evil down?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Maybe we should ask Yah if we can just burn this thing. Does it produce good fruit or not? If it doesn't produce good fruit, we'll just use Yah's own argument. Hey, this thing does not produce good fruit. We should shut this down. It causes some problems, Yah.
He obviously made it for a reason. I don't know, maybe it's just temptation, testing his people.
For free will.
For free will. Nicole chimes in. I love when she chimes in. Free will, that is very interesting, isn't it?
Why do you make it, though? Why?
Well, I don't know, but, let's move on. So anyway, these are great discussions, and if you guys are still with us out there, much love. All right, in verse 18. And Yahuwah Elohim said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him a helpmeet for him. And out of the ground Yahuwah Elohim formed every beast of the field, and every fowl of the air, and brought them unto the man to see what he would call them. And whatsoever the man called every living creature, that was the name thereof. Okay, so there's something here. There's something very interesting. There's a power. that was given that we all still have. What is that power?
Name?
Power of naming things and having names, how names are so important in this stuff. And it's very interesting that Yah would, so you have Adam who has zero like life
It's
experience.
like a baby naming stuff. Like,
It's like a baby,
They would
yeah.
come with the craziest names.
You would just, that's the crazy thing. You're born into an adult body, but yet we blame him for being susceptible to the snake. And the snake, that was probably no challenge whatsoever. It was probably nothing.
He's been around for a while.
Like, kids and candy.
Giving candy to a baby.
Yeah, stealing candy from a baby.
No, this one's like giving it to him.
Oh, well, the wrong candy.
Yeah, but
The evil candy. The
Yeah.
candy.
Poison.
Yeah, poison candy. Okay, here we go. So, 20. Thanks. And the man gave names to all cattle, and to the fowl of the air, and to every beast of the field. But for the man there was not found a helpmeet for him. And Yahuwah Elohim caused a deep sleep to fall upon the man, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs, and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib, which Yahuwah Elohim had taken from man, made he a woman, and brought her unto the man. And the man said, This is now bone of my bones, and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his woman, and they shall be one flesh. Okay, is this a commandment? I know this is this is interesting, right? This is
It's definitely like a statement, like saying what you're supposed to do, but I don't think it's like a command.
well, we have issues. We have Adam and Steve instead of Adam and Eve, right? We have without a commandment of that man should cleave unto his woman right out of the gate. You could be confused, and you might want to I don't know some bad things.
Yes, okay.
So, is this a command? Therefore shall a man leave his father and mother, and shall cleave unto his woman, and they shall be one flesh.
Yeah. I'd say probably command.
Anyone?
I think so.
Okay. I'm trying to get everyone to weigh in here. Everyone out there, I wish we were doing this live, because this would be really cool if everyone could weigh in. One of these days, Eli's going to get this dialed in, and we're going to be doing some live action. Right, Eli?
You can do it right from the DU recorder.
Right here?
Yeah.
Okay, let's not do it right this second. Okay, so this is it. This is the question right here. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his woman, and they shall be one flesh. What is this? What is this command? Man
and woman. I don't know.
Nicole, help us out here.
What name is command?
So this is command. This would be commandment. I think a docs just blew up.
Again?
Okay, so
6. Man shall cleave unto his woman.
man shall cleave unto his woman. They should leave. This is like leave your parents. It's like leave. Well, here's the thing. You're supposed to leave your parents' house, technically.
Get out, child.
Gentlemen.
You're getting married.
Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother. So basically, a man should go build his own family. Okay, commandment 6. A man should build his own family.
Yeah.
The man shall leave his father and mother and join to his wife, and they shall become one flesh.
Man and woman should build a family. They shall cleave unto his woman, and they shall be one flesh. Man and woman should build their own families away from their parents. I don't know. Is that right? Is everyone with me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everyone out there, if we can word something differently, drop that in the comments, please. We would love to hear that. So man and woman should build their own families. Therefore shall man leave his family, his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his woman, and they shall be one flesh. All right, so I think that may be it, gentlemen. Okay, verse 25. And they were both naked, the man and his woman, and were not ashamed. Okay, that's the end. So that is the end of Genesis 2, and that is the end of it. As long as, here's what we're going to do, folks. As long as we can find a commandment in a chapter, we're going to keep going. So tomorrow or the next day, whenever we end up doing the next one, we will be doing, I think it's going to be a couple chapters.
It's like Genesis 9 is the next one.
Is it really? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we might have like a spin-off here. And
Might as well do that one live.
Yeah, I don't know about doing it live. I don't know if I have enough hard drive space. And I don't know if we have enough bandwidth to try to do it live either. So we're going to run into some issues. We'll try it. But so next time, if you are camping out with us, grab a coffee pot if you guys drink coffee, or the teapot if you drink tea. Popcorn, and hang out with your extended family over here down south, and we would be glad to have you guys. And I think that is it. So the Torah life is a good life. It is a life of freedom. And guys, where salvation begins where, Jade?
At the cross or the stake.
The stake or the cross. What does that mean, Cade?
That means that the stake is a tree that was put up with Yeshua, that he was basically on. It wasn't actually a cross, but people know it as the cross, so salvation begins in the cross.
Salvation begins in the cross. And what does this do for us, guys? Does this allow us to live in sin, or allow us to do stuff? I mean, what does this allow us to do?
No, Yehoshua came back to be a final sacrifice lamb, because they couldn't forgive. The law was being broken so much, the sacrifices were wrong, the Levites weren't doing their jobs anymore, and everything had become corrupted. So Yehoshua came back to restore himself as the high priest, so that we can use his blood as a redemption, as forgiveness for breaking the laws of Yahuwah, the Torah.
Right, and so did Yahushua do away with the laws?
No, he came down to restore them and make them whole again.
What verses do you have that would prove something of that nature?
Oh, we have.
Think not that I came to what?
Destroy the Torah, the prophets. He did not come to destroy, but to fulfill.
Fulfill. That means they're gone, right, folks?
No, because Moses was talking about somebody who come down like him, who would bring back the law.
Bring back the law. And so, what are the Christians will say there are two commandments. What are those?
I actually did a video on that the other day. Yehoshua is preaching, and one guy goes, "Rabbi, what are the two greatest commands?" And he said, "What's the greatest command?" He goes, "The first is love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your being, with all your soul, and with all your strength."
And what does that repeat?
That repeats the Torah.
It repeats what in the Torah specific? Well, I mean, where's
the Shema?
The Shema, Deuteronomy what?
6:4.
Deuteronomy 6:4.
And then he goes, the second greatest command is love your neighbor as yourself. And so he didn't say there's only two laws. He said there's two greatest laws.
What does he say hangs on those two laws?
The rest of the Torah.
Right. So what does that mean? The Torah hangs on that? Does it mean the Torah's gone, Kate?
That means that when you hang those two things on the cross, that means that you are doing the will of the Father, which is the Torah, because you are not robbing your neighbor, you're not taking his wife, you're not cheating on your own wife. You are staying in the Torah, because when he says those things hang on the law, everything inside of those two sentences there go straight inside of the law. Everything from there is in those two commands. When you love Yahuwah with all your heart, you are following his day he told you to rest. You are worshiping him correctly. You're not bowing to other gods. You are not eating pork. You're not eating bacon. You are not eting shrimp. You're not eating the food that makes him angry, that he considers an abomination when you love him.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not. People think that this is an evil dictator, and that is what I learned in the Christian religion, is that the God of the Old Testament is definitely not the God of the New Testament, and it's like he basically sent his son to undo the strict laws he had. But once you start reading the Bible, it doesn't say that at all, and we have been led to believe that we are Gentiles, and it is okay to be a Gentile, when the Bible says it is absolutely not okay to be a Gentile. We do not want to be Gentiles. We want to be Hebrew people. We want to be Hebrews. We want to be in covenant with Yahuwah, and the only way to be in covenant with Yahuwah is to what?
Is to follow his Torah.
Yeah, his Torah. And Torah means what?
Instructions.
Instructions, or way forward, or right way forward. And it's been translated hundreds of times into what they call the law, and that's what scares everybody. And so if you're willing to do away with the laws of God, and it's hanging on the cross, you got to be very careful, because it says, "Be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, subdue it, have dominion over all living creatures, and men and women should build their own families." So which of those are no more? And you could say, "Oh, well, it's just the 10 Commandments." If one of the 10 Commandments is to obey the Sabbath, then why aren't we obeying the Sabbath? So anyway, Jade, do you have something else?
No, that's it.
Jade, anything?
Shalom.
Shalom. That's right. Eli, anything?
Read your Bibles.
Yeah, read your Bibles. Please follow along with us. And if you guys see something we missed, or you guys have something to say, please let us know.
Yeah, and absolutely. Thank you guys again for hanging out with us, spending this time with us, and we are going to let you guys go. Much love. We are out.
All right, shalom.